I'm going to go over some of the issues with this character, particularly in the arm. Here's how it looks smooth, and again rough. First thing I'm noticing is that the hat and eyeballs and hair have been combined with the character, which they should not be. So I'm going to say mesh separate. And now let's get a close look at the arm. So upon closer inspection, I've realized the problem is this very strange split in here. I don't know exactly where that is coming from, but I'm just going to right mouse click, go to edge, double click on this edge, and we could either delete the whole thing or delete it up to here. I think, yeah, I mean, really, it's the problem with this is this edge here, and you'll notice that actually, let me change view camera attribute editor. Let's view camera attribute editor. There we go. And let's just get the near clip plane a little closer. We can get a little closer here now. So you'll notice that this comes in there, but see how this doesn't meet the corner there. So I'm going to do delete edge, edit mesh, delete edge vertex. You can also do control delete. And so now I don't have those weird shapes on the arm. And then similarly, this little guy here, up to this point, if you look closely, you can see this, this is not meeting the corner, and that's making for, a strange face here, and we'll want to fix all of that. So I'm going to go ahead and select here, and then shift double click here, control delete. Okay, good. And now let's fix these guys. I think a merge will do that for us. Apologize for the background noise. Edit mesh, merge to center. Okay, so that's looking better now. It's getting cleaned up, and we have a 5 or 6 sided face here, which we'll want to try and resolve. So I might just move some of these around a little bit, try to get a little bit more shape to this guy. And trying to figure out, this is a 4-sided face. Oh, those are 2 4-sided faces, so I guess those are okay, actually. Okay, so things are a little bit more sound now with this. So that was the main fix for that. It's just those edges were a little bit problematic. So now I'm going to add some detail. And for that, I'll go to the front view, Control Alt, and draw a little marquee box. I'll zoom in like so. Polygon modeling tool right here, multi-cut, and I'll hold down Shift and just draw a straight line and get a couple more edge loops in there. And you can see that looks a little better already. And maybe one more here, again, front view. Okay, and then once you've done that, you can go in and work on the shape a little bit more. I'm going to right mouse click, vertex, click some of these, and give it a little bit more shape. I might use B for smooth select. Hold down B, click and drag. I can increase and decrease the size of my select. You don't want, if you add edge loops, you should really, touch up and move around all of the additional points that have been created, so that there's a reason for them to be there. So it kind of helps the shape along. Helps to have a little bit more of an indent at the elbow here. Maybe pull out the elbow in the back a little bit more. Round this out a little bit. It could certainly use some more work, but that's a little bit better. And I might do one more near the wrist, just because that wrist is going to need to bend we'll smooth this afterwards, and that'll give us that much more detail. I might do a little smoothing here, just because this area is very jagged looking, and that tool helped me round it out. So for that, right mouse click, paint, sculpt. Much too big of a brush. Hold down B and change the brush size. Okay, and then I have this on smooth, and I'm just going to kind of click, 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 just kind of with a pretty gentle touch. See how that's kind of resolving that area a little bit where it was extremely sort of jagged, sort of spreading out the verts. Maybe a touch here, touch there. And I think the hand could use some more detail as well. Go in the top view. I'll add another split down the middle. Whoops, that was a mistake. I'm going to hold down Shift. There we go. And now let's use the Move tool here. Again, B for smooth select. That's a bit too big, but kind of give that hand a little indentation there. And anyways, I can keep going, sculpting, but definitely maybe more of a shoulder here, so it's not so flat. Now the fingers also, I mean, if you're really going to use these fingers like fingers where they have, a knuckle and all that kind of stuff, you really need more edge loops, because it's going to need to be able to, looks a little funny from the top, but I think it's all right. I'm not sure why it looks like that from the top, but don't worry about it. So multi-cut, control to get an edge loop, and I think smooth will take care of, when I do a smooth, it'll take care of some of this for me, but I need more detail to begin with. Maybe here, 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 here. Anyways, I think it would be worth your while to spend a bunch of time really sculpting these fingers, but I don't necessarily want to take the time for it in this tutorial. What I might do is just grab the verts of the hand, just as like a little bit of a shortcut. I'll use this lasso tool. Whoops, oh, that's the paint tool. Sorry, I think of the lasso tool. And let's go back to the sculpt, right mouse click, paint, sculpt, and F for frame selection. And let's just see what happens. I've got smooth on. Let's just see what happens if we hit flood a couple times. Is that helping the shape or hurting it? Maybe helping a little bit. Yeah, don't go too far with that. I feel like the thumb has gotten too thin now. And I should be able to, one trick for selecting all the verts of the thumb is select one vert and do Shift and then the period key, which is the greater than symbol. So I can quickly select the thumb that way. And I might try using the Sculpt tool to do this. If I pull things out in the normal direction, distance of 0.1 might be too much. Let's start with 0.01. Whoa, much too big. Okay. 0.1, 0.001. Oh. Oh, why did it go in? Must be, maybe the normals are reversed, I'm not sure. I think the normals all reversed. We'll fix that in a bit. So just a nice quick way to make the thumb a little bit thicker. I might grab this edge loop. Another thing, if I want to move this edge while kind of keeping that shape, is a cool trick if I use the modeling toolkit and hit the move here and change the transform constraints to a surface slide. See how it tries to keep the shape of the surface consistent? rather than just moving it in one direction. Anyways, you're going to want to do little things like try to pull out knuckles and all that kind of stuff, but this is already looking better. The other problem area I found out was here on the feet. You've got all of these splits here, but they don't populate up the body. So like this face is if you look at the edges, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sided face. And my feeling is that you don't need all these splits right now, that you can you'll get this shape when you do the smooth. So control delete, control delete. Let's just, I mean, if you want, okay, let's see how many we can get rid of. Control delete, control delete. I want to see what happens when we get rid of all of them, and then we can just fix it after the smooth. Whoops, I'm not sure. Okay, there we go. Control delete, control delete. Okay, look at the 2 feet. I mean, yes, that's much more rounded. All right, and we still have this one here. I'm just going to go for broke and then see how it looks after we smooth. See how that shape, I mean, okay, that looks like a problem. Maybe we really need that one. Oh, and that's actually fine, that one, because it's a 4-sided face. I've made an error here because I should have been doing this on this side, because I'm just going to model this side and then mirror it. So let me just repeat that. See how those shapes, I mean, they're not really that different. Obviously this is smoother, but our smooth is going to do most of the heavy lifting there. So control delete, control delete, control delete. And actually I can use the G key, which is, oh, it doesn't want to do that? Okay. Control delete. And okay. And then again, this one right here, that's not adding any information. Watch when I get rid of that. It hasn't changed the shape at all. That wasn't doing anything for you. And then that I can leave. But, you know, give it more shape. Like, don't have any totally flat surfaces where there's additional detail. Like, give this, whoops, you know, round it out a little bit. Something like that. And again here, you know, do something with this, like don't have it be totally flat. So the leg, just like the, you know, arms needed more detail, the legs, again, if you're doing a hip, a knee, and an ankle, you need more detail there. So multi-cut, I'll call, actually it's going to be better if I do this slicing across. So hold down Shift, go straight line, that'll be the knee, let's be the ankle. And then for the hip, I'm not real happy about quite how uneven that is, especially this guy here. Again, I have surface constraint on, so you can see as I move this, it tries to sort of stay on the surface. And so the surface should be mostly the same shape. And then I'm just trying to kind of compromise a little bit and level this out some. It doesn't have to be a perfectly straight line, and the body of a shape wouldn't really allow that, but at least I can get it a little bit straighter than it was. So I like that. Look at how jagged this one is, and this one's a little straighter. So now when I go ahead, I can still use, you know, hold down Control and add a loop there. We're better off. It's not straight, but it's not at that super sharp angle, and we'll have more detail to deal with that. So now, again, you can go in and continue to model and all that stuff. Maybe let's take a peek at these lips, because these look really problematic. I'm not sure. It's a little crazy. Look at this crazy little bunch of faces here. So something's gone a little nuts here. And see, look at these crisscrossing edges. That is problematic. It's good to, you know, switch between rough and smooth. So I think you're trying to pinch the nose at the bottom, but you overdid it because it goes all the way over to the other side, and that is not good. So I'll move this one back this way and move this one back that way. And if you're having to do something like that, it means you need more surface detail, you need more edge loops. So all of this stuff is kind of pulled out to too much of an extreme, like the way these are, it's just gone a little berserk here. So I think for me, I'm going to want to take a step or two back by deleting some edge loops. and then go back in and kind of clean things up, because this is all a little too crazy. Control delete, double click, control delete, double click. Oof. See, I don't even know what's going on here. Let's get rid of it. I just have to get rid of some detail, just to figure out what the heck is going on here. It's just very strange up under this nose. It's really hard to see. What we've got happening here. I'm not sure this had really proper topology to begin with. It looks a little nuts. But I'm just going to do the best I can with what we've got, rather than don't know. Whoops. I'm going to turn off the transform constraint, because that was just messing me up there, because I just wanted to push that in a little bit. Okay, so I'm trying to get kind of a mouth cavity back. Alright, let's go ahead and mirror this over again. Oh god, what's going on here? You've got a face with how many sides? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that needs to be dealt with. I'll just go ahead and click here and click there. Okay, that seems better, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe we don't need this extra bit here. I should use target weld for that. It's kind of a good use for that. Yeah, that seems to get rid of that. And this shape's a little bit odd. Alright, that's a little bit better. Alright, well, let's remirror again, and we can always continue in a bit, but do we have any layers going on? No layers. Okay. I'm going to just shift select here to get his accessories, make a new layer with those objects in it. I can rename this layer, I'll just call it accessories. Oops, accessories. Okay. And then hide those to get those out of the way. That'll make it easier to mirror. Front view, right mouse click face, select his faces. Let's double check the selection. Okay, delete those. Oh, looks like I missed a little bit here. Okay, and let's check this edge loop, make sure that whoops. That's all in the center. I'll make sure this is set to absolute. Put this to 0. Just look at it in the front view. Yeah, it looks like some of it's a tiny bit off. So 0, enter. Maybe not. Doesn't matter. Okay, and mesh, mirror. And in this case, we're going in the negative x direction, so that'll be that one. Okay. And yeah, the mouth is looking pretty crazy still. Oh yeah, we've got this. Wow, that whole little mesh there. Jeez. Don't know what's going on with the. It's almost like. I don't know what the story is with that. That's very strange. Yeah, this is just, it's not going around as edge loops. So let's do a little surgery on this. Okay, and then I do something like that here. And okay, so I'm starting to get those loops back, get things back to a little bit more normal. Then I'm going to go ahead and start deleting some faces, or excuse me, edges. I really only need to do one side, but Control Delete. Yeah, I'm just gonna get rid of all of this so I can see what's going on here. I've gone too far there. Yeah, let me just Control Delete. Yeah, that's like a many-sided face now. Just trying to get this back to some kind of semblance of normal. And I'm not really happy with that many pointed star there. We'll probably want to work that out a little bit in a bit. But just going to flatten this out. Move it out a bit. Yeah. Let's grab this here. Whoops. Oh, that goes around too much. I'll just grab these individual ones. R for scale. Flatten those out. Move those in for the mouth cavity. Maybe not these. Get some more edge loops going. These points are too far back. This stuff can go further back. It's a little messed up because I'm just really doing the one side at a time. Anyways, I'm starting to get a little more sort of structure to the mouth to be able to get it a decent amount of shape. And I might, do we have any? Okay. I might take this whole area, push it back a bit. Again, I'll just worry about this side really. And maybe pull out the top side a little bit more. More edge loops. Oh, see, that's not going all the way around. Alright, so I'll just do it here. And I might just remirror this again so it looks a little bit better. Whoops, when did I make that? It's always good to double check that that edge is on the center line when you're mirroring. Alright, it's still, surprised. Yeah, it had a little problem with the merge here. Not sure why it did that way. That is not good. So I might go ahead and mirror it manually. I'm not sure why the mirror is giving me a hard time. So to mirror it manually, I will duplicate it and scale it in a -1 in the X, and select both, mesh combine, and edit mesh, merge components. Okay. So we should be okay now. Don't know why that was acting funny like that. I do still have this funny thing right here. I don't like. Control delete. Okay. And now the edge loop should work again in here. Oh no, it doesn't go all the way around. Oh, because this is a triangle. That's why edge loops only work on quads. So what I might do is select this guy, and I'll move him back, and I'm going to use the move in here in the whoops, lost my selection, and I'll use transform constraint surface slide, and then when I move it back it'll kind of maintain the shape of the surface. And that's not so happy. It's doing something, and most of them are working fine. Let's control right mouse click 2 vertices, see if that works better. So it's not doing well on those edge ones, so let's deselect those and now move these back. Give me a little bit of room for another. Let's see what happens if I move these guys back by themselves now. Yeah, see, it's doing a very odd thing there. That's not how that should work. So I'll just turn this off now and just move it back normally. Okay. And now we have a little bit of room for another edge loop. Start getting some more shape here. Select that, right mouse click edge, double click, move that forward. There's some oddness with these guys. Let's get that shape a little bit better. Alright, we're starting to have something that resemble lips a little bit. Might move these guys just a little bit down, a little bit forward. Let's look at it in wireframe. So I think, I don't know why it's doing that. That makes me concerned. But there's a, yeah, I think part of it is you might need a little bit more detail on him in this area. Anytime you see a face that's like, see how it's doing that kind of crazy thing there? It's just a face that's very kind of twisted. It kind of wants some more surface detail. Let's see what kind of, something like that could help. And then from here to say, maybe the corner of the ear or something like that. And then you have a little bit more shape to work. And anytime you add stuff like that, always, you don't want these perfectly flat because otherwise there's not much point for them to exist. But now I can define this shape a little bit more. Let me move this back a little bit. And this one looks like it could go in some. Anyways, keep going. So I would spend more time getting some nice shape to the mouth, maybe closing it a little bit. But this is just, the first thing is to kind of get the structure right, because the structure was a bit of a mess on there. Make sure you're modeling on one side, that the side you're going to mirror, because you can just keep re-mirroring it. But anyways, I would keep going on all that stuff, and you're going to need to do a similar set of stuff for the eyes. Yeah, it's looking, I don't know what's, it's like did some weird merging in the center thing here in the eyes. Jeez, that could have been from the mirror. Yeah, but all these faces are going to be a problem, because we don't want those all to be coming into the center. Yeah, not real happy about that. Let's see if we can fix that up. Control delete. Okay, that's coming back into shape a little bit. Pull this guy forward a touch. Okay, and so that's having a little bit better shape now, better structure. Let's see if we can get any more loops around the eyes. Good. I'm a little concerned about how tight the space here. I might get a little bit more round shape to these first before I start adding loops, because a good way to work is to get an eyeball in there. Just move V for point snap, and where's my eye? Oops, I'm not in object mode. Let's get this shrunk down. Gonna rotate it in the X 90 degrees. W, hold on V for point snap and get that there. F for frame selected. Move that down and over and back a little bit, and wherever you think that's going to be. And then what I like to do then is, if you want, you can add this guy too. Or you had eyeballs in there, didn't you? That's right, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's pretty small. I forgot about that. There's this whole elongated eye thing I can show you at some point, how to deal with this, but let's just use what you've got. Let me make sure the pivot point center and modify center pivot. Might scale this thing up a little bit and maybe move it back a touch. And anyways, the point of the story is that you're going to want to, let's add that to, let's make this whole accessory layers reference, and that way I can't pick the stuff. So, whoops. So, yeah, I can't pick. I'm going to want to mirror that over to the other side as well. But the point is, the story is to, have the eyeball there when I'm modeling this stuff around it, and just make sure that shape is, working with the eyeball. And then maybe I'll add some more loops, start getting some detail here. Anyways, it's got a ways to go, and there's not that much detail there. You might want to add some more loops going the other directions to give it a little bit better shape. You could also continue going on this after we smooth. Yeah, it looks kind of wacky. I kind of don't like how these, I'd like to have this a little more, whoops, a little more logic to how those move in. And I've got a problem down here. There's just not much room for these guys, the way it's structured. Challenging to get that little guy. Okay. Anyways, I mean, this needs more work, but it's starting to have a little bit more structure there to be able to start building eyelids. So again, let's do that manual mirror thing again, just because we were running into problems when we mirrored it using the function. Okay. Oh goodness. I have another one of these examples. Don't know why that keeps happening to me. Control delete, and then let's put those back in there. I just want to do this before I mirror, just to make sure everything's, whoops. There we go. Yeah, and I think maybe that's where this neck issue came from. I mentioned I would work on that. We can solve part of this here. Whoops. Yeah, it's a little bit confusing when the modeling toolkit has its own set of its own set of move, rotate, and scale tools, which I find a little, I don't know, I don't like them as much as the built-in ones. So now I can get rid of some of these. Certainly those. And now I have to kind of bring that shape back. I think something's going to have to come in there, but now I can kind of maybe start working on the shape of my chin a bit better. But now we don't have that crazy many-pointed star. And yeah, we've got this on the back too. I think somehow I messed up the mirror. Control delete. Control delete. Yeah, I'm not really loving how this neck is built. Kind of want to, well, again, we can just focus on one side, but running into these little tight areas. Let's move this one forward a bit and cut here. Oops. Doesn't like that. Looks like there's some weird phantom face there or something. I don't know what's going on. Let's try to do this from the inside. Yeah, there is some weird face here. Don't know what that's about. Okay. Now we're in trouble. I guess that was that face. It's just not real. Yeah, that's... So let's see what happens if I... That's weird that this, normally you'd, yeah, okay, let's delete this edge first and then see if it lets me put these two together. That's very strange. Something is wrong with the construction around here. Not sure. It's a little bit hard to figure out what is going on. Yeah, see how that overlaps there? Yeah, there's something wrong with that face. That just, yeah, it's like in the little face center is floating there. There's something really wrong with that. I wonder if I fill hole, if it's going to fix that. Mesh. Fill hole. No, it doesn't want. Oh, it did. Okay. Now let's see if it lets me cut. Oh, it seems happier now. Okay. Alright. That's better. Okay. Yeah, I'm not loving coming to a triangle there. I mean, could have... Yeah, I could continue these down the front. I guess let's do that. Okay. Control delete. Multi-cut. Maybe from here. Hold down shift. Get those. That's good. Straight, and then here to here, something like that. Whoops. Make sure I get it right at that corner. Okay, that seems better to me. And you want to continue to refine the face and the cheek and all that. Anyways, got to keep going with that. So, all right, let's mirror again. Okay. Fairly confident I'm... Whoops. This is all at 0, but... Ah, come on. Is this in? Oh, somehow I got into combination selection there. Is that the problem? Weird. Okay, I didn't mean to do that. Move mode, 0, enter. It was fine anyways. Just see what my mirror options are set to. It's just a normal. I don't know. It's really screwing that stuff up there. So anyways, I'll just have to do it manual. Control D for duplicate, scale X -1. Select both, mesh combine, edit mesh, merge components. So we should be good now. Double check one of these. Yeah, there's just one selected there. We're good. Okay. So we've got him looking pretty good. Dang, another one of these things on the back. Control delete. Yeah, I think that's happening because the mirror's not behaving the way I would expect it to. Okay, so from here I might smooth him once. Mesh. Smooth. Was it edit mesh? Anyways, let's use the button. Okay, and that's smooth set to 1 division. So now you've got plenty. So now you can continue sculpting him if you want. I would get the lips better before I smoothed him, but I'm just trying to speed this along. And the eyes, I would do that before I smooth them. But you can see you've got a lot more to work with on the eyes now, so you can continue sculpting at this point and get a much better shape, which I would recommend. But yeah, oh, and remember the feet? How we were concerned about the feet? See how this did it for us? And it's not that weird thing where we have those, uneven faces and all that. So yeah, this is looking pretty good, much more usable. You've got a fair amount of detail on the fingers to be able to bend them, and the arms and all that. So I think this front shape looks a little weird. I would work on that, but yeah, keep keep working at it, and this is looking pretty good now, though.